What's good, Internet? My name is attackslug, and welcome to the AEW Elite General Manager Beta. I want to emphasize beta because some companies go, oh, it's a beta, but it's more of a timed demo. This is legitimately an unfinished thing, therefore an actual beta that needs some feedback. So I'm here to provide that feedback in my video with you today on the show. So welcome. This is the first real AEW game, because the less said about that casino nightmare, the better. And it is indeed a GM mode game, but is it what people would want from that branding? Let's find out. So what's in here right now in this beta? Well, as you can see, it's a mobile game, so there are multiple currencies. There is a store. There's no actual money involved, at least not yet. That's a good thing. But you do earn two kinds of currency and can spend it on different emotes and different finishers for your personal avatar, which is over here. And your own avatar can have its own finisher, and you can choose among different AEW superstars right now that, again, it's getting there, but it's not there yet. It is still indeed a beta. So I will choose Darby Allin, and if I had enough currency, I could totally put a finisher on Darby for when I fight people on the internet in the head-to-head mode that is currently in this beta. But also, you can say, all right, now I have MJF, and I want to give him a funny hat for MJF. When you actually go to the store and get those things, you can add that to your avatar for that head-to-head online stuff. And that's fine. In its own little mode and away from the main core of what you're doing here, no problems there. But I think having the main screen, the first thing you log into here, be the matchmaking, is perhaps a bit telling of the direction they're taking us as a phone game, as a, like, alright, little time waster in between whatever, and not a proper, like, long-form GM mode product. Because when you think GM mode, you think SmackDown vs. Raw, 06, 07, and 08. And this is not quite that. And to be fair, they're a different company, so they're doing their own thing here. But invoking the name of a GM mode gives you a certain amount of expectations of what that should be. But here's what's in here right now for your single player component. You have career, you have challenges, and you have endless. And endless, I think, could be interesting if given the right amount of care put into it. That's not currently there at the moment. So right now, what is in career is basically a tutorial. It's like teaching you how to play the game and, you know, all the different steps to interacting with what is currently in here and their systems. And I've done most of it, and it's fine in terms of teaching you what to do. I would certainly hope when the final game launches, a more robust career is what people are looking for, and it's not quite in here just yet. You also have challenges. And it feels like, being a phone game, that most of this game is focused around the short-term goals. Most of these, all right, do this thing in 4 weeks. Do it in 5 weeks. And for a phone game that you're playing here and there, in between other things, sitting online somewhere, that works. For a GM mode proper, what you really want is, all right, I have a year to accomplish this thing and beat the opposition, the opponent, whatever. That's currently not in here. But let's see what a week would look like, as I'm currently in an endless thing here. I'm on week 3 in the endless. So, AEW All Elite GM mode. You can sign from the roster. So, pretty much a lot of the folks you'll see on TV, obviously the art here is not totally done yet, but a lot of the folks you'll see on TV, I can look at the roster here, I can look at Mr. Brody Lee, rest in peace. But you can see popularity, strength, speed, endurance, and then his morale, his condition, and his stamina. So they've taken a lot of things that you would want to have in this kind of a mode and have added it in here. They've built a solid foundation on what they are doing in this game. I think I'm fine with my current roster of 9 superstars. I can obviously have them be sorted by different variables, but I'm fine with what I currently have. Let's head over here into making the matches. So right now it is 3 matches and 1 backstage segment is your show. And you do have a variety of match types. There is currently no triple threat. I would say add that. We need triple threat. But we got 1-on-1 tag team, 4-way, 3-on-3, 6-way, 2v2v2, 3v3v3, and a 5 versus 5 Survivor Series. And that's awesome. I think having a 3-way dance, that's kind of a big part of wrestling, really. So that needs to be done. But again, it's a beta. Keep in mind, things can change here in this current closed beta. So you take your 1v1 match here, drag it onto the board, then head over into the roster. I want to have, for the opening contest, Griff Garrison take on the bastard Pac. And once you get that done, it tells you, all right, who might win this match, but you also have gimmicks for the match. So I currently have a forklift, a pizza, a chain, and the bubbly. I'm going to give Griff Garrison a forklift. Maybe that evens things out for him there against Pac. Maybe not. But we head on to match 2. Let's book a tag team match play-up. I think this can be a little bit confusing if you haven't already played it before, because the versus does not really differentiate between up and down and left and right. It is left to right. So versus is not up and down, and that can be confusing. What I mean there is that you want to say, all right, I'm going to have a tag team of, let's say, Riho and the magical girl Yuka Sakazaki. They are one side in that tag team. And they'll take on Ali and legit Layla Hirsch. So it is side to side, not up to down, and it's not really clear that that's the case on that. But we'll now go into match 3, and our main event for the evening, a one-on-one contest between Penta and Mr. Brody Lee. So, once you get your matches done and dusted, then you want to have your backstage segment shenanigans. It's a wrestling show. There's always going to be shenanigans. And this here is what's going to possibly increase or decrease what you do. And these will either cost you money or they will cost you fans on your show. But they will increase things for either a superstar or for the show overall. So I'm going to say, give me the on-stage promo. And then you tap what match you want that on-stage promo for. For me, I'm going to say, all right, give it to the bastard. And we will drag him over into that spot for that promo. He's mad at somebody and cutting a promo on them for that. And now our show is pretty much booked. So once that's done, we can hit the bell. And then we have the week in review. 3 matches and an on-stage promo for our card. We ready up, and then we proceed to the little things happening. What's gonna happen in the ring? Who's gonna win? He had a forklift. He tried to kill me with a forklift, but I think Pac is just too strong. 1, 2, 3. The bastard gets it done. Some folks have their own finisher. Some folks do not. Tag team match happening here, but again, it's a beta. So you can see it's very much an unfinished thing. Like, there wasn't really a count there, but whatever. Now, Brody Lee versus Penta. And who wins that match? It is indeed Mr. Brody Lee of the Dark Order. Now, we get our results. All right, the star rating, the fans, the money. Things going up is always a good thing. But as you can see in this endless mode, I'm just making numbers go up. Like, I'm not going up against anybody, which I think that's the core of GM mode. And yes, you can go head-to-head for 4 weeks. So that is kind of the online, is that you do that exact thing for 4 weeks against an online opponent. You do all the same exact things, and then, all right, who has the better rating at the end of that 4 weeks against that online opponent? Which, again, is cool in the short term. But I feel like what fans want from a GM mode is that long term, I have a show to go against, right? Because right now there's no draft. Right now there's no, stealing talent, getting those big contracts signed away from somebody that you're competing against, and that whole element of what you would want from a GM mode. And it's not just here yet. I'm hoping it gets there, but it's not here yet. I think when it comes to filling that need for a short-term burst of GM mode gameplay, the challenge is here actually a super smart addition, because it could be anywhere from 1 week to 5 weeks. So right now, this one is 1 week. You must schedule Matt Hardy, Matt Jackson, Evil Uno, and Cody in a tag team match. Also, use the forklift. Also, have a hospitality table, and also have a 3 versus 3 match in 1 week. So book that whole show to meet that challenge. I'm assuming they're going to add more of these as the game moves along. So that's kind of cool. But again, the thing that you would want as a player who enjoyed those old GM mode games, and perhaps when AEW has their console game, they'll get there. But the thing that you want is, all right, I'm going to start a show against a rival when you had Raw versus SmackDown, and then later on ECW. But at the core there, AEW is different because they don't have that SmackDown show yet. They don't have that B show. Yeah, they have Dark. Not quite the same thing. Not quite the same level of competition as you would have from a Raw versus SmackDown. When you start with a draft, and you have a competing show, and you have those ratings week to week for the course of a year, then you get invested on that whole overarching story. Even something like Fire Pro. Fire Promoter gives you fake opponents with fake wrestlers and fake names, and obviously you can add your own from the workshop, but you want somebody to fight against in a long-term scenario. The only thing in here right now for that long-term scenario is the Endless, and there's nobody to fight against. You're just kind of making the numbers go up, and that's cool, but it's going to get real tiring real fast not having competition. And doing the online, going into a casual match here for the online, is like a nice short term. You have the 4 weeks, but what you want from a GM mode is at least a year to do a thing, right? At least a year to go that overarching, I'm fighting them in the ratings week to week. I'm stealing their superstars, month to month, building towards pay-per-views. So here, we have a roster, we have a money goal, we have, all the different things you want from that GM mode, and it's a limited pool of talent to pull from, so you have to be smart. Who do you hire? Who do you book? Who do you sign to your brand to make it work and make that match happen? Because matches cost money to run. I have 4. I want MJF, and I want Ortiz. Now, I don't know if the opponent here gets the same level of superstars that I do, the exact same roster, or if it's, a different roster. I'm not sure how that works, but we've spent what we spent here, and now we're ready up here with 6 superstars, and then we'll go head-to-head, because you can't spend all your money here in the signing phase, because you're going to need to have money to run the matches themselves. But he has not hit ready yet on his deal and signed his superstars. So, there we go. All right, now, we're in here. And let's hop in here and book our matches. Match 1, we'll book a one-on-one match. It will be Britt Baker, DMD, versus... Oh, I only signed Britt. Can we have Britt fight MJF? No. So there's no intergender matches here confirmed. Which means we need to sign Riho. And there we go. That might be a problem. It might not. We'll see. So, Britt Baker versus Riho in our first match. Match 2. Again, we can only afford to do 3 one-on-one matches here on the card. So, we will have MJF and Rey Fenix. And our main event will be a one-on-one. And it will be Cody Rhodes versus Trent, ? There's our card. We need to have our thing here for our set. We can only book certain things now that we have no money to book certain things. So we don't want to cost us our fans. But we have the option to not book a segment. So I can just say, all right, I don't want a segment. Incomplete. It's fine. Ready up. And now we get our weekend review. The matches will take place. And then we'll get our end of the week 1 deal here for AEW. And so who wins here? Britt Baker and Riho. Lockjaw. That's it. You're done. DMD, the role model, gets it done. Now then, Phoenix and MJF will be a great match. And the Heat Seeker. That's it. 2-3 MJF. Better than you, and you know it. And then we have Trent and Cody. We see a crossroads here from Cody. Nope! Trent gets the win. Got to give people what they want. So once that goes through, we get our star rating, 2 stars, and our opponent did better than us, and we know it. Not having enough cash to run that interview segment totally cost us on that. But I'm going to bail here. You get the idea. Sorry, bro. You win. Take it. Enjoy. But that right now is what is in AEW Elite General Manager on Android and iOS in a closed beta. So open beta at some point, but right now only in that closed beta. And again, it is cool for what it does, and they've built a good foundation of what it is. But I feel like what you really want is that year-long thing with a draft, with an opposing show, even a CPU opposing show. But right now, the Endless is not quite going to get the job done for you on that. And I can claim some stuff here on some currency. I can spend that on either getting some stuff for my superstar avatar or getting more gimmicks like the chairs here. I can buy a gimmick. It's a beta. It's not done yet. It's still a incomplete video game, and I'm not going to judge it too harshly because, again, it is incomplete. They have made a nice first step here, and the foundation, I think, is solid. But also, when you think GM mode, you certainly have ideas in your head of what that should look like for folks who enjoyed those modes back in the day. And even folks who are playing Fire Pro, which is more of a tycoon sim than it really is a booking sim still. Meet me somewhere in the middle and give me that. I don't think the lack of having an actual wrestling game under the hood, like SVR or like Fire Pro, hurts this game that much. I think for what they are trying to do, they accomplished that thus far. I'm just not sure that what they're trying to do in their own little AEW universe works exactly for what people would want from this kind of a game. But it is an important first step, and I'm hoping it gets all the way there when it eventually releases as a full release. But right now, it's a beta. I can only tell you what I think of this beta and give my feedback on that. I'm attackslug. Thanks for watching. More videos right here. I'll see you next time, and I'm out.